everybody, welcome back to Reaper Pro-Tips with me, your host Ann, Disembodied Hands Quindy, Disembodied Beard John, and sometimes my sulky puppy, who is so sulky this morning. Sorry for the late start, guys. Our refrigerator started to die, so evasive action was taken, along with repair calls, and David and I just had a morning. We've had a weekend, because it started to flicker over the weekend. I was like, so some stuff I preventatived, but then, not so good today. I have to go back a lot in chat because you guys have been saying a lot of stuff. So first of all, Queen Quindy, with this 50 months resub, because she's just that cool, everybody. Yeah, the half century. Almost time to turn back into a bat. No! We need you to have actual digits so that you can punch the keys. Although the thought of a tiny Quindy bat hopping around on the keyboard to ban somebody makes my heart glad. We now need Gene or somebody to do some art of a tiny Quindy mod bat. You need a mod bat, like an actual bat icon for your mod bat. Oh my god, okay, this is the best ever. Let's see here, what we got. Oh, you have to socialize soon. You're still on your days of forced socializing, Kerniko? Is this the last one? Why does it take 3.5 hours to eat dinner? Kerniko, you're so funny. Although 3.5 hours is way too long for me too. I start getting antsy after 2. Hey there, Jetta. And Slayer. It's got to be close to the last day though, right, Kuro? Socializing is best at a distance. I don't know about that, but yeah, for some people, sure. The only way to be sure. It is Queen Quindy. Yeah, for sure. I think we managed to, the dancing bats. Yes. Totally dancing bat. Yep. It's more like an irate bat, because she's like bouncing around on the keyboard with these big angry eyes, banning someone, like that kind of bat, except ridiculously chibi cute. That's what I want. That has to be a thing. And we could do a t-shirt saying, my mod has the best bat. With the little bat bouncing on the keyboard with angry eyes, waving its wings. We could do this, except with a wing. Oh, yeah, yep. Chibi RBF keyboard bat. Yes, that. All of this. Yes, we need all of this. Do you all agree? Yeah, this needs to be a thing. We need to find an artist. Have it done. Make it so. If I was only Picard. Oh. Yeah. Yes, the most adorable bat ever. But, that definitely needs to be a thing. But yeah, we managed, because we took proactive action, because me. I'm trying to explain to myself to David, I'm like, this is what being a number one strategic means. It means the minute something starts to flicker, my brain goes to what happens if this dies tomorrow? We need to be prepared. Run out, grab things, execute, most sensitive things preserved, and then vindicated. When the next day the refrigerator, the temperature starts to dive and everything is going straight down to the bottom of the ocean. So yes, that's it. So this is when strategic is a good thing. When my strategic brain. Yeah, that's what my brain is. Number one strategic. It's funny because it's not always good. Like, I was trying to tell David this. I'm like, he's like, you seem so convinced it's going to die completely and we're going to need a new one. I'm like, but that's me protecting myself. Because, in the old days, having to replace a refrigerator would have been a catastrophic thing for me because of all the money it costs, right? So my brain immediately, strategic brain goes to the worst case scenario and prepares you for that, trying to dodge all of the intervening pain. That's what it wants to do. It just wants to go there and say, be prepared for this. It's the disaster planning brain. Disaster planning, absolutely. But it's not, what it's not is a fix-it brain. Like, it doesn't have the patience to fix things. It just wants to dodge catastrophes. He's also paranoid. You could, except it's only paranoia when things start to, like, when I can see it coming. So it's not like I walk around like that all day every day, but my brain is super alert for little signs of things that are going to go wrong or right, and then it builds me a path, the best path to get out of that. So it's really good for plotting in stories. But yeah, there's another strength called restorative that actually is, it's not better, it's different. Restorative is the brain that looks at a problem and wants to fix it and figures out the best way to fix it. So unlike strategic, which sees a hurdle and wants to go over it, you know, maybe it sees a hole in the road and it figures out the best way around it. Restorative figures out how to fix the hole so that it's better. Like, it's that kind of thing. So it's two different types of thinking about, you know, in oncoming problems. But my brain automatically will go to the worst case scenario because then it's prepared for that. And we have a plan. And once we have a plan, we're happy. Right. Yeah. Yes. It's best to prepare for just in case. Right. So I like, but it means I'm like never panicking in an emergency. Like instantly my brain tries to figure out, okay, what's the best way through this? Boom. And I just do it. I execute instantly. So the minute that thing, we started to have problems with it, and my little spidey sense started to go ding, 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 I was like, where is the tiny freezer, the tiny portable freezer that I bought for road trips with Kiki? Because that portable freezer, guess what? It's also a portable refrigerator. You just have to adjust the setting. So now we have tiny fridge, except it's actually a fairly decent sized fridge, on the counter, preserving our like most preserve needing things. And then I got my yesterday, or this morning I got out my cooler, which is my icebox. So you ordered the Sophie's Revenge. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Mad. Pretty crazy. That's big. Get yourself a house brush for that. Do the Ed. All right, so let's get actually, like, doing something today. What? Doing something? No! Actually working on things and stuff? Thinking about green stuff adjustment. Because I really just prod this into place. All right. And I also, having to clear out everything in the fridge also meant the freezer, which was where the green stuff was. So I essentially have an excuse to get all the green stuff that I had. There's this ton of old green stuff in the freezer. And so now I'm going to go through it and see if it's any good. Yeah, for that boat, like seriously. Battery-powered air pump, which saved the lives of your fish. Yeah. That's good. And then you feel so vindicated, right? You're like, yes. Yeah. Or exactly what Kariniko said. You could just do a wash. You don't need to highlight. So this is all the huge amount. We've got like 4 pats of green stuff in here. Some of it's got to be still good, right? Right? So I'm looking for plasticky. So what I'm looking for is the plasticky effect that we had, that Julie taught us about. I'm going to find the least plasticky, or if I have all plastic, then I'm just going to start scraping out the middle. Even I draw the line at 1 inch. So when we peel off, we can instantly see actually that the yellow is sticking to our plastic. That's a great sign. Actually, yeah, it's getting a little bit of plasticizing around the edge, but the center is still sticky. So this green stuff is actually still good. It needs to be trimmed, but it's still good. So this one gets the yay, it gets put over here. Now this, oh, I bet you this one is plasticky. Let's see. Oh yeah, so when I put that dent in, you can see it just like it's like a plastic layer on the top of it. So only the center, like I'd have to cut off all of this and I'd have to dig out the yellow out of the center for that green stuff. So considering all this extra green stuff I have, that might just be pitchable. And then this one, oh, this one looks like it's really quite sticky. It looks super sticky. Oh, yeah, like I can dent it, but I'm getting fingerprints. So I'd say this has a tiny skin. You can kind of see that edge. This has a really thin, it's started to skin over, but most of it is still good. So that's great news. That's great news. Let me go and make sure, check the other side. Now this side looks more plasticky. Yeah. This side definitely has that line. See the line there? The layer of just like around the edge. So only the center stuff is going to be good, and the center stuff on the outside edge is totally cured. See how I'm putting that thumbnail in there and it's just kind of pinching in? So I'd have to cut off all the outer perimeter. The nice thing is all the blue stuff is good. It just seems to be the yellow that's like really gone south. Since you always have more yellow than blue in your stripe anyway, so sometimes you end up running out of blue before you run out of yellow. This gives us extra blue stuff if we trash the bad yellow. Yeah, for sure, seriously. It was a good trick. I'll probably put it in a video and attribute it to her at some point. I believe in passing on the love, so we can do a short video for the tube of you about it, and say Julie Guthrie is awesome and Bob Rodolphe and Julie Guthrie gave me this tip. Go for a car wash, haha. Different types of paints. Oh, nice, Ancient Marble. Did you make them watch the video? I didn't cover craft paint in there, but craft paint often differs by having, it's these days they seem to be going more into the coverage category. Like at least one of them, I don't remember what paint it was. Somebody was thinking it was the Apple Barrel Color Shift ones or something that actually had really good coverage. So that what that means is that they've gone toward a cheaper base with bigger resin particles to get that coverage, because they're certainly not putting more pigment in it, because if they did, they'd have to raise the price. And going toward a base with higher particles. But yeah, going toward a base with higher resin particles means that it's a cheaper base, usually. It's because it's not as durable. So it doesn't have as many applications. That means it's cheaper. Green life trick. Blue and yellow apart. Nice. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm going through these and seeing how good or bad or ugly they are, green users. So I can doctor them accordingly and preserve them. Well, we'll use the one that's definitely still like decent. This one is questionable. This one is done. That is done. Let me grab these and kill the ones that are dead. Dead. It's dead, Jim. I may steal the plastic. Let's steal the plastic off of this one. Just put it in the trash. That way, I can have some extra pieces of plastic. Excellent. Yep, time to toss my trash. All right, so we've got the green stuff that is the best green stuff and the second best green stuff. That's lovely. Happy. I can do surgery on those later. But for now, I want to look at this. I think what I want to do is kind of like the tendrils on this side from the hanky. I kind of want to make a few more tendrils going out toward the skull. It's on the other side. Just to kind of like give that feeling of like there's a whoosh of tendrils coming out, and maybe it's thicker toward his hand and then it's thinning out as the skull gets further away. I may want to add or subtract a few details. Although I'm pretty happy with the roundness of the tendrils that actually curve over the skull and hold it up. So I think we're okay there. We don't have a lot to do to dress up the spell effect, but it's a little chunky, and I've got tool marks on this side, so a little extra will cover that up. And then we can work on the green head of the snake, and we can work on the basing today, and then finish up the spell effect and grass and stuff next time. $20 old. Wow. Yeah, I did find I did once in a time buy the tube that has the separated ones, and I have a whole tube of that. I put that back in the refrigerator, the little refrigerator, because I figured that stuff's going to stay longer than anything. So it's because Green Users has been working with green stuff for an insane amount of time. It's like me with paint times 60 zillion. Alright, so yes, let's mix up some green. I do want to cut off the edge around this, though, because it's definitely plasticky. So we'll keep the plastic on for that. And we'll get out our handy-dandy silicone scissors. Which, you know, you can use just like a real scissors, so it's not like you're like spending money on something you're only going to use once in a while. But it's the titanium nonstick scissors. And I'm just going to cut around the outer edge here. Maybe I can just do do it without the plastic. Hold on. We'll move the plastic away so that we have extra plastic. I'll get this underneath the camera. And let's cut a strip down the outside. Let's try about that. And then we'll check it. So it's sticky, but thanks to my nonstick scissors and the fact that it's somewhat setting up, yeah, that's why we're getting rid of it. Now let's look at the edge where we trimmed it. Now it's really nice and sticky. Sticks to my fingernail when I stick it in there, so that's great. I can also trim the top. May actually, because the blue is so like sticky, I may get the whole thing and just use the there. We'll just do those. And that should give us a good, and then we'll do the same on the other side. And this just, cutting it through the plastic just helps it, even with the nonstick scissors. The blue stuff is pretty viscous, so helps keep it from sticking. Can buy a dragon. Yeah, I've done that, Agent Marvel. I usually buy it blue, like pure white, brush on sealer, and brown liner. Those are the things I run out of. All right, good. And if I want to, I can separate out these little strips, and then I can cut off the end of this one. Just like we did before, we're going to take the plastic off. Hey, Blue 9. Oh, nice. Yeah, Cassie's a good little sculpt. We are doctoring, we're fixing our green stuff. I found a huge load of older green stuff in my freezer since our refrigerator was conking out and I had to clear out everything. And now I am essentially trimming off parts that have already cured so that I can get back to work with the remaining fresh stuff. So when I stick my fingernail against this, it doesn't stick at all. It just leaves those little dents. So this is already pre-cured. We need to get rid of it, the outer edge. So we're peeling it a little bit. And then we're going to I've got non-stick scissors. And I'm just going to cut right up the side. Get rid of a few millimeters of it. Then test and see if we've gotten to sticky. There we go. Even with non-stick, sometimes it wants to stick a little bit. Let's scrape off the edge there. There. Now we'll test. Thanks to thank Bob and Julie, green users in the chat. They are the huge like green stuff experts. All right, we have gotten it. We've gotten it. We still have a little bit of a plasticky. I can just rub my hand up and down on this side of this one. It's a little bit of a plasticky seal on the outside of this, but it's really minor. I can't even really see an edge there. So I think we're going to be, yeah, like it carries over, like it's pretty good. So this I think will be all right. And this other one we've already pre-trimmed. Again, it's starting to get plasticky on the inside, but it's not bad. We can dig out of the middle. Now this one we can see a lip, and that means that there is a plastic layer that's starting to form here. So we do want to take the yellow from the inside. Or they buy it in the tube, so it's not in the strip, Gibson. Oh my God, Kerniko, yes. Pure white is amazing. It's my favorite thing I ever made. It isn't, no. Yeah, that tube's half and half. Yeah. Yep, I have one of those sitting in my refrigerator. I guess I could get that out to show people what it looks like. That's right. Spelling is overrated. That says the writer. 1 second. Let me get my tube. So the tubes look like this, guys. And for scale, gives you an idea of the huge amount of green stuff you're buying when you buy a case with 24 of these. So the tubes come in a long plastic tube with these guys stacked on top of each other, side from the side. And it is a lot of material. No, it's a plastic tube that these are end to end in, Gibson. Yeah, because they're so sticky, right? But that's a good sign. You want them to be sticky. So I'm gonna put these suckers back in my cooler because I don't want to have them out in the air. There we go. Alrighty. So yeah, all your questions about green stuff answered. Yeah, if it's too old, Quistado might have skin. You'll have to look at to see if it's still okay. All right, in there with you, green stuff. And now we'll use this one. That's why you store it in the freezer, Gibson. It does extend the life a lot. That's why I don't use it that often, obviously. Although I use it more on the stream than anything. But if you don't use it often, then keeping it in the freezer does help. Assuming it's fresh when you get it, and that's the thing. Here we go. Sorry, got my tea today. We running really late this morning because of the last minute fridge save. All right. So let us see if there's anything I want to carve off of this. But I kind of like the little tendrils. This one is a little twisty tendril. That one underneath the jaw is okay. I think they're all right. I think the tendrils are okay. We're going to keep them. All right, let's get some green stuff so that we can make more tendrils. More tendrils. I accidentally cut up my plastic when I was cutting the yellow. I made a slice in it. That's all right. All right, I need a sculpting tool to dig out some of the skunk with. I think I'm gonna try to dig it out with my clay shaper, my silicone, because it's gonna stick less. So we're gonna dig down into this. If there is a plasticky outside of it, we'll avoid that. We'll try to avoid that and just take the interior. Not as effective as a metal tool, but I'll take my fingernails and just snip it out of there. And see how much goopier this interior part is compared to this where it's more smooth and not ripping and gooping. So you know the interior is fresher. There. Now I got almost all fresh goop. In reality, the outside of this isn't too bad, but it might still go a little. I don't trust it entirely. It's still a little, it's not as soft as we'd like it, a really fresh green stuff to be. So for now, that's okay. And then we'll pinch off an equal part of the blue. There. We don't need a lot because we're just going to play with some tendrils. Pop that over there. Please don't eat a whole bowl of green stuff. That would be bad. Not non-toxic. The green stuff is not non-toxic. Wash your hands before eating and before petting your animals after you are using green stuff. I may not have gotten enough blue. So when you're working with a tiny little bit, it can be kind of a pain to work it into itself, but No, wash your hands after using green stuff before eating. Comma. It's my use of the Oxford comma that is lacking there. Some writer I am. Good thing I just got Pro Writing Aid. It can correct all my terrible grammar. All right, there we go. We've got it all nice and mixed up. When we can't see any more streaks and we see a uniform color, that's when we know our green stuff's okay. It's not full of vitamins, Richard, sorry. It's only full of toxic. Like, I mean, honestly, I can only, like, at some point, you know, I have to let Darwinism run its course. I can't just be there, like, rescuing you guys from eating your hobby supplies. So, like, if you insist on and misinterpreting, then I'm just going to have to let Darwinism run its course. Outside skin for basing. Oh, yeah, for it makes sense. Oh, no, Macronico. That's terrible. I don't use Vaseline because I never want to wash my models before I prime them or paint them. I see where I can actually. I feel like I want to trim right here. Let me get in a position of control. I want to kind of scrape a little bit of this green stuff here. It's a little bit uneven. I may need to touch up Ed's fingers if I'm not careful. Okay, there is a little bit of metal under that. Yeah, we'll touch his fingers up a little bit. Oh, wow. Happy Darwin Day. Seriously. I'm not going to have any viewers after all this. You're all just going to run out and eat and drink hobby supplies. And then the next thing we know, our viewership is going to plummet. I'll never see anybody again. All right, we're going to grab a little bit of this green, and we're going to make it into a little worm, and we're going to pinch it off so we have a couple of little worms. And we're going to use this to make more tendrils, including over the part that I just gouged. And actually, I think I might even make a tendril coming off of Ed's fingers instead of just outside of them or inside of them. Get down there. Get off my hand, green stuff. Ooh, that's a cool little tendril. That one's zooped up. So having some extra tendrils that are doing cool things will help us. Too poor to eat your hobby supplies. Yeah, hobby supplies are not exactly cheap, are they? All right, I'm going to grab my... I'm not even using... I should grab a sculpting tool at this point. I should grab a sculpting tool. Let's grab the little sculpting tools. Let's grab the Julie sculpting tools in honor of Bob and Julie today. So, did you get rained on, Julie, this past week? I saw my mom had noted they only got a little bit of rain in Chandler. At least when I had last checked in with her. But I saw a lot of places got kind of buried. Mostly in the mountains, though, huh? She said it hasn't been a very rainy winter for you guys. Alright, so I have this nice little leafy tool and the spade, the hockey stick tool. I've got one of my clay shapers. Truffle sauce is cheaper than hobby supplies. Oh, lovely. So I'm just taking advantage of the fact that I took some of the paint off Ed's hand to green stuff. A tendril coming out from his fingers. And I'm gonna have that tendril swoop down and then keep it back up like that. I kind of like that. I don't want it to go too high because I don't want it to be too fragile. But since this is just a display model and it's pretty much going to go and sit in the sit at Reaper and not be handled, I can make some more fragile stuff without underlying wires. Something you'd never want to do if you actually wanted to put something on mold. But when you're just sculpting a one-off, it's see, that really adds a lot of life to it. When we take this hanky and we make a new tendril so that the tendrils are kind of flailing out, that adds a lot of character to this spell effect. And I mean, that's why Tom Meyer couldn't really do that. He had to keep it all solid, right? Because it's not going to go on mold very well unless you can underwire it. A lot of rain where you go. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I know Arizona does depend on its rainfall. I know you guys recycle a lot of water, but... And that means everything's going to start being all green and flowery down there. People always think Arizona is browner than it is. Blue 9. I hope you don't have too many. That would take too long. I need my sleep. Alright, so let's put an extra little tendril here and blend it into the spell effect. Let's use our one of our sculpting tools here. I'm going to dip it in water. I use water. I should keep selling them. So it's self-defense, right? Selling the minis is self-defense. I used to be in that world. There. I'm going to press it down. Need to be very cautious of how much water I have on my sculpting tool at this point because I don't want it to get underneath the green or it won't stick. But I want the tail end of this to be sunk pretty firmly down into here. And then I can bring the tendril part up just like I have this one. Kind of curve it, curl it around. Play with it a little bit. Scrunch it. So you can make some pretty fanciful shapes. But they aren't going to be very durable. You want to make sure that you've anchored them and stuck them in really good on this side. And it's nothing you want to do if you're going to be shipping the model or anything that's going to mean it's going to be taking a lot of wear and tear or use. If it's a part of the model you're really not going to touch, I mean, then fine, but if there's a chance. Like this is pretty protected. Since I put this big base on it, even if it fell over, it's not going to hit the skull on either side. So I'm pretty safe on doing these effects on this because even if it falls on its head, then we're in trouble. But that's true with any metal miniature. Etsy. Yep, that's kind of nice. Yeah, I used to do eBay back when that was the market, but I've heard that Etsy is the market now. Blue 9. I should ask you all sorts of questions. Like, is the market on Etsy? Because it's something that I haven't done for a while, but it's how I started out. Making my reputation was on eBay. But is it mostly like, are you trying to do a gaming paint job and do a lot of them, or are people like doing more display level paint jobs on Etsy? Hey, HM, how's it going? And it's pretty much paint them, put them up in the store, work on the next one while you wait for those to sell. But I guess with an Etsy store, it's not like an auction, right? You don't have to like have that maintenance factor. You just put them up, and when they sell, they sell. Am I right about that? Because I've never used Etsy. Flooded the mini market. Make it challenging to find actual painted. Oh, because you can't search like you can on eBay. Like that was the thing with eBay is you could always search painted Warhammer or painted, Confrontation or painted Dark Sword or painted Reaper. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah. Wow, Blue 9. Yeah, that must be hard then. So you got to get that reputation built or hope for lucky results. Shift over to eBay, yeah. Yep. Yeah, because, you can also, one thing I found with eBay, at least this was back in the day, though, so God knows if it's still like this, was that it was perfectly possible to build up a stable of buyers there who would then follow you. So, like, if somebody manages to find your auctions on eBay and likes your work, and you say, hey, I've got an Etsy store, they can come over and look at your Etsy store then, and follow you there, maybe. So, yeah, it might be. I don't know what the market is like on eBay these days, but maybe it would be a good thing. I'm not sure. You should find out and come back and tell me. I always think about... These days, I only put up painted models on my Patreon, and I haven't even done that in over a year, because I've been in a little bit of burnout, But I always am tempted, like, just to look and see what the market is like, just because I actually used to really enjoy painting for eBay. It let me paint some models that I maybe otherwise wouldn't have painted, and make a little money from them. And it was actually, it always made me feel really good about myself, because I would paint what I wanted to do, and then somebody would think it was worth money. And so it was always actually a really positive experience for me on eBay. And I met some cool people on there that became my, fans and buyers. Tabletop Plus. Yeah. No, yeah, there's no links in here. I was just curious. People who bought will reach out. Yep, that's how it goes. That's exactly how eBay worked for me, too. I don't do commissions anymore, except for one person, and I'm getting down to, I need to finish the last lot for that person, and then I think I'm done completely on commissions. It wasn't sustainable for me. Everybody's got that. It's more than ever. I feel like everybody's got a different road, right? It's definitely true in some creative fields, more like it has been true for a while. I feel like in miniature painting, now that there's things like Patreon out there and things that are like Patreon, and and you've got YouTube and you've got Twitch and you've got the eBay and the Etsy. There really are a lot of roads if you want to turn painting into your part-time or main-time gig. And the journey is different, and where the type of what you settle into as a miniature painting professional. Like everybody's different. Everybody's blueprint is different. Hey, Crowley. Yeah, I'm starting to add little tendrils. You can see the little tendrils there that I'm adding, Crowley, to make it blend in more with the little stuff that Tom did. And now I've got to add more of that stuff on this other side. So essentially I'm making a long, I've got my big snake of green stuff that I'm making into little worms. And then I'm bringing those worms in onto the model. And I want to disguise some of this real rough green work on the bottom. So I'm going to do one down there. Yeah, the fees are going up. That happens. At that point, you just really need to look at relative margin. And yeah, and if it's a per listing fee, then it might be worth starting to do a little higher quality, maybe get more money per model. Might help offset it, but yeah. It's always that was the same back in the day when eBay and PayPal were both hitting us for fees. It's the way the evil corporate culture works. All right, so so fees are inevitable, and I think you just have to figure out what's going to give you the best return, both in the specifics of what you're selling and your overall strategy. I love talking about the business side of this since I've done so many different things with it. Bye, Kuro. They remembered you. Bye, Kuro. Aren't too bad. 20 cents for real estate. That's not bad. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. That's just fees on what you sell. Mm-hmm. Yes, if you're looking for a way to market, I found, at least in the day, you can figure it out, whether it's still a good market by doing searches for painted Reaper, painted Warhammer, painted whatever you do, painted Age of Sigmar, whatever market you're looking to go into, Age of Marvel, or painted D&D, painted RPG, and see the number of listings and who's got bids, right? And how much feedback each of them have, how entrenched they are as sellers, things like that. Yeah, I don't find, honestly, what I've found, Turgeon, just to add to that discussion about Twitch, I do get people who find my Patreon from my Twitch stuff. But I get a lot more people. I don't know if this is just in general, but YouTube seems to be a place that a lot of people use for discovery. I've gotten a lot more traffic from my YouTube. And there is some data behind that from Patreon specifically. They've actually done a couple of studies on that, on conversion rates from various things. And they also found that YouTube had a decent conversion rate, 1 to 2%, which is actually pretty good you know, if 1 to 2 out of every 100 people who discovers you becomes a patron, that's actually pretty good as you grow a channel. But all these things, Twitch and YouTube, are all like investments, right? They're investments of your time. So I'm going to try to stick this down. I think I got a little bit of water underneath this. So that's going to make it a little harder. Where is my chisel point? Or my taper point. Did I bring it up here and bury it under stuff? I thought I grabbed it. Oh well, we're just going to have to deal. But yeah, so I mean, the upside of Twitch is that it doesn't take very much to monetize it, but it's really hard to grow an audience. People do use Twitch for discovery. It will give you a little bit of extra cash if you like get to the point where you can get the first affiliate. All right, we got way too much water in here now, so we are going to grab. Good. Cool, RFND. Yeah. Yeah, I find, because I did that on my Patreon, I did that survey back at the beginning of the year, because I was really curious myself to see how people were finding me. And that was really really instructive, because it pretty much bore out what I had thought, which was that YouTube was the main one. But I did get some people from Twitch, so that was really nice. All right, so I took the water out of that. Then I was able to press that little green stuff strand down. So we're kind of going there. We're going kind of to add some tendrily stuff like on the back. Just a few extra little streams of energy. Sure, Quindy. Yeah, Fiverr, I don't know. People are looking for such low amounts of money from Fiverr. But yeah, I don't know. Anything is worth trying. Like, there's no cost. Okay, there's time cost, but I mean, if you learn stuff from it and you're able to leverage what you learn, then it's just it's not that bad. I'm taking my fingernail and I'm just like pushing the Kleenex up against the green stuff to pull out that water. I'm gonna let it set. I've got a little bit of kind of jumbly tool marks down here, so I do want another strand of green down there. But yeah, so Twitch is easier to immediately monetize, but on a very small scale, I find. Oh, good. Yeah, Tonic. Yeah, I saw your stuff. First Twitch. Okay, bye. It's nice to meet you. But yeah, so let's see, what was it the other day? I was talking to, it was on my coaching call for my writing, but I find that my writing coaching definitely translates to painting, and the things I've learned in my painting translate to my writing. So my writing coaching, the coach Terry, he was making a point about, what was it? It was like a cookie sheet. It's like, his analogy was that the bigger your cookie sheet, the more likely you are to have somebody discover the cookies. So like essentially all of these things, you know, as you spread out your net and you get more products in more places and people can discover you in more places, essentially raises the chance that you're going to get somebody actually who does discover you and might become a fan. Oh, sweet. That's cool, Blue Nine. I get a lot of that. I get a lot of, oh my god, how could I not have followed you? Or, oh my god, how could I not have known you were doing X or Y, or seen that you were on, you know, whatever, and it's funny. I mean, come on, people, you have priorities with your life, and they're not me. But that's fine. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Oh, okay. Yeah, no biggie. With Fiverr, it's just set prices and tiers. Yeah, that's nice. I mean, there was somebody I was just looking at, because I'm always curious about places like Royal Road and Wattpad and stuff for the writing. But there was somebody who had originally done writing work on Fiverr. who had essentially said, I will write, background character sketches or, magic spell descriptions for your RPG, right? For your RPG game, for X amount of money, for X amount of words. And he was talking about how Fiverr worked, and I thought that was very interesting. All right, so we're putting another tendril on. Tendril 2, or 4 actually, considering tendril 2 on this side. So the first thing I need to do is to tamp down this tendril's, this end. It's green's starting to set up a little bit, so that's why it's less sticky. But I got better placement on that one, so. Yeah, it's cool. I'm used to name changes, but thanks, Jake, thanks. There, and once if I've got that in place, then I can grab my metal sculpting tool and really bring the water in a little bit more. Again, I'm kind of touching my tool to my finger and just tapping off some of the excess water because I don't want to flood the underside of it like I did the previous one. See, the previous one is still a little bit loose where the body of it is out there. So I want to press this down. And it's just patience. Like, be patient with the green. There we go. We've got a couple of little tendril things. Jumpy tendril, yep. Good. Yeah, I mean, it never hurts. The hardest thing for me to remember is to always talk about my other stuff on my stuff. I always forget to. I've had to remind myself to mention my Patreon on my YouTube videos, because I was previously doing so much with YouTube just for my Patreon. And I'm like, everybody's already on my Patreon. But now I gotta remember that even though I might be posting the video to my Patreon first, it's actually going to go up on public YouTube, and people aren't necessarily going to know that I've got a Patreon and a Twitch, all that kind of thing. Yeah, I've got a little bit of a dent in that one. Oh, a dozen bees. A freebie. Oh, trash. You're terrible. You're terrible. Going to Fiverr for paint jobs. I mean, it's not why not? Agent Marvel? It's why not? Yeah, absolutely, Turgeon. If they fell off, absolutely I could super glue them. Yep. Especially because it's a one-off, because I'm never going to put it on mold. If you're going to ever put anything, if you sculpt it, if you're going to put it on mold for casting, never ever super glue. Ever. Or Kevin will come to your house, and we know that Kevin is a scary, scary man when he's angry. Kevin will come to your house and throttle you. I promise. Oh, actually it's thermal mug. I got smart. RFND, and I just put it in the double walled. So it's still warm. This isn't as good as some of my other double walled stuff, but it works. I don't think you'll have to comb very far, Zachariah. You could ban both of you. Ha ha! The ban mallet comes down. The ban bat. The ban bat. So now we've got quite the cool spell effect going on, guys. Yeah, it's starting to really, you can see the sweeping energy, right? Those free tendrils really give you that effect. Oh, there's the bat. Oh, Zachariah, where'd you get the cute bat? Trash, we decided that Quindy is really just a little tiny goth bat, a cheapy goth bat that's hopping around angrily on her keyboard, punching keys to ban people. We need that. We need that icon. Oh, it's Miniatures Dens? As an old fart goth, I'd support that. Hey, likewise. Why can I not find my taper? My freaking taper. Gosh darn it. It's my favorite tool. Why have I lost it? Why is the world unfair? Why is the world sad? Why did I think I grabbed it? It might have taken it to the other room. That's usually what happens is I'm like, la 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 la, and it goes to the other room, and then I'm like, where is my tool? My life is empty. Yeah. Just like that. So, do I have anything else that I can use? Yeah, this one has a rounded end. But so does that one. Oh well, we'll just deal. We'll just have to deal. Oh, seriously? Cure Funko Pops? Oh my god! Oh my god! Wait. Now I have to look this up. I mean, the Cure 5-pack. Robert Smith and Friends. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, they're adorable! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, so cute! It's true. I love how they've got Robert's black eye makeup on him. So funny. So funny! Oh, so funny. Wow. Oh, funny. Dark Arts Market. Gothic Arts and Crafts and Gifts. Oh, nice. Nice, Blue 9. Yeah. That's cool. Alright, do I really want any more? I kind of feel like this is looking good. I kind of feel like these Sweepy Tendrils. The Sweepy Tendrils have really sold, like, the energy pushing out. I think I'm going to leave it there, guys. I think there's still a rough spot on the top, though. Let me grab some green and see what I can do. Maybe I'll flatten this one out. Lots of Reaper, yeah. I'm always hail fellow well met when I see a mini painter in the wild. Alright, so I have where I carved that green, I've got a rough spot there, so I'm going to grab one little piece of green and try to flatten that on the top to hide that stuff. Get in there. And now I'm going to actually mush that tendril up onto the hand like I did the other one. So I want the top of this to be flatter, but I think that's decent. Yes, I am going for my last bit of medical crap tomorrow. And that's fasting and being starvicated for a long time. But once it's over, it's over. Alright, that's good. It looks like there's a whoosh of power that's really bringing our friend the skull forward. So I like that. Good deal. And I'll probably do some corrections with carving a little bit later on, but I like this. This works. I only picked it up for like conversions, RFND. Originally, I hated green stuff for a very long time. I was uncomfortable with it for a very long time. But as you use it, especially for like basing and low pressure things, stuff that's not, doesn't have a lot riding on it, as you get more comfortable with it, you really start to see what it can do. So I might hang Ed upside down again after the stream to make sure these guys don't like all sag onto the main base of green stuff. That's what I did before, is I hung him so that the skull would stay out at a certain angle. But yeah, hopefully the fridge repair guy should be coming to kind of look at our fridge, hopefully this afternoon. That's another thing I've got to keep my eyes open for. Yeah, so there's our little tendrils. Much better. Let's get out, I think I kind of want to work on the staff. Let's do that. Sit, stay, little tendrils. Let me get out my painting stuff. And with as little green stuff as we mixed up, I still didn't even use even close to all of it. Which is that's why I need a new putty catcher, I think. We still have a huge piece of green, relatively. Could look down and see if there's anything on the base I want to add, but mushrooms don't seem like they're really in place. If I had to pick a Texas animal to put on the base, it'd be a big fat toad, because there were so many of those when I was there. Alright, cool, Turgeon. Good luck with your orthopedics. Alright, I think I'm going to darken the staff to walnut and bring it up with lighter green. So I'm going to grab my Dungeon Slime and my Leaf Bud is too muted. Maybe I'll use Alchemical Green from Pathfinder. You could also use Moth Green, but you're going to want to add a little bit of white, probably do underpainting if you're using Moth, because it's so translucent. But it's a really good vibrant spell effect color. Now I have to find my taper point, like, clay shaper. I'm going to, like, cry after this stream. For all I know, I dropped it. It's lying on the floor, languishing somewhere. But yeah, hopefully this will be the last bit of health stuff for a long time. Fingers crossed. Alright, mixing brush, and I'm going to take some of this walnut and put it over in let me back out. Put it over in a separate well and mix some green into it. I might be better off just doing white and glazing with the green over the top, but probably will be, but I kind of want to see what I can do here with transitions. I think I'm going to I'll pop some alchemical green in there. This is a Pathfinder color. It's similar to Moth. It's a little greener. It has a bit of white in it as well, unlike Moth. Moth is a far more pure pigment color. It was not thoroughly mixed up. Not thoroughly mixed up, bad. Yeah, we do a lot of sculpting on the stream, just for basing. So like we just did, if you wanted to watch a basic green stuff, I would say that when we did this this base, that we'll be painting probably later this week. I think Friday. Let's see. Tuesday, Wednesday. No, Thursday. Oh no, Friday, because I missed Tuesday. But yeah, so doing just basic dungeon tiles is a really good way to start out and learn what green stuff can do. All right, let's see how this goes. Yeah, it's going to make a really grayish, greenish, lighter brown, which actually I want that for starting highlights there. So I think I'm going to add another green thing. It's moth green adjacent, yep. Yeah, Pathfinder has some good colors. As y'all know, I do use a fair number of Pathfinder. Ooh, we have a little bit of sunshine. Kiki's back to taking walks today, everybody. Kiki is off of house arrest. David said she was super happy on her morning walk, but also pulled like a demon. She's like, I can finally leave the house. All right, so we'll try that. We'll do the walnut, and then we'll do this transition color, and then I'm going to do a alchemical green. Then we'll go up to Dungeon Slime probably. But yeah, alchemical reminds me a lot of moth in that it's just a little bit more opaque and a little bit greener. And I'm going to use this dirty color in there and see if I can get kind of a, there we go. I want to make some transitions here. We'll see how successful those are, but normally I would just underpaint, and that might still be the way we go, but we'll see. I'm not adding a lot of water to these colors though, because I know how transparent greens tend to be, and I do want them to have a little bit of strength. All right. This is a really good urban toxic goo landscape triad. Yeah, Burgundy wine. Michael Proctor began the cult of Burgundy wine. That was one of those colors that the person who taught me at Reaper was really dubious about. And I was like, no, you don't understand. That was when I was told that dark purples don't sell. I was ahead of my time, folks. I knew that dark purples sold. Maybe in the old historical world, dark purples didn't sell. But in today's world, this is no longer a thing. Kinda. I haven't used Vallejo for so long, Blue Nine. But I recall burnt red. I think burnt red is closer to maybe, our Asmodeus red. Let me see if I have burgundy wine in my thing. I don't use it a lot. I tend to reach for more blue purples. But it's a lot like, I'm trying to think. It's darker. It's more blue, I think, than the burnt red. It doesn't have a warm feel to it. It's very cold. Yeah, it really helps if you go in kind of Slayer on one of the smaller lines with bones, or just if you search for red, like that helps you to pare it down. A lot of people like to use the burgundy red for shading. Yeah, Burgundy wine is made by mixing a very high solids red pigment with blue, just murdering it with blue. So you get a very muted purple red. But it's or a more muted one than you would if you were using magenta, for example. But it's not like a bruised purple. It's more vibrant than that. And since it's only 2 pigments, it's pretty intense. Got a good saturation level when thinned. Yeah. It's a red purple. Bye, Crowley. All right, let's see what we can do with this snake staff. I wish the snake staff was like bigger. That's like the good thing about like having a very naturalistic sculpt for a likeness is that you get the likeness. The bad part is that everything else tends to be naturalistic, and then you don't get like the big chunky staff that you can do a lot with. So I'm going to paint over the brown that I originally used with this walnut. It's almost time to turn on the ringer on my phone so that I can get the potential call from Fridge Repair Dude. May as well. Yeah, there we go. If something comes on, I'll just mute it again. We don't have that much longer in my stream. My brush, my latest Da Vinci Maestro has definitely thinned itself way down now. It's almost to the point where I can't use it for regular painting. Because it's so narrow now. It will excel at detail work, but it's lost most of its belly, as you can see. This is how my brushes tend to wear. They never lose the tip, but they will slowly fade away to a shadow of their previous selves. So I didn't originally go for walnut here because it disappears against the blue-black cape. But now I'm going to use the green to try to remedy that. All right, let's try this. Just anything a bit more fantasy would be. Need to let that dry a little bit more. Yeah, I just start noticing, because as you lose belly, you lose the snap, you lose the spring back, the springiness of the brush. But with this, you can see how thin it has gone. But with this, I can do some amazing, like really fine texture with it, a brush at this stage, but I do probably need to swap it out now for a fresher brush. For overall painting. So I'm going to try to bring in sparks of green further down the staff, and then really seriously. So the 8404 and 8408 lines are gone. I'm still seeing Raphael Kolinsky's on sale some places. But not nearly as many. But it looks like they're going synthetic sables. Let's see. Could have had supply issues. Yeah, it looks like just generally dropped out of the sable market. Although, hold on. I'm seeing something here that I don't understand. I see. Yeah, this is. Remember what I said, guys, a while ago that the synthetic sables were getting really, really good. Yeah, it looks like the Raphael Precision is a synthetic. I'm curious as to their lifespan. Reviews seem good so far. A lot of people did not have a sharp point. Returned it. Yeah, so dubious. We'll see. I'm always hopeful that synthetics will get to the point where they can compete with the natural sable. But they're fighting against... It looks like they're pivoting, but there are still Raphaels available that are sables, but not necessarily at the big marketers. Yeah. Yeah. They're gonna. I mean, it's plastic. Synthetic is plastic. Interesting, Blue Nine. I didn't know about that in Denmark. Yep. Well, get your sables while you can, folks. I do have backstock. I always buy them when I see them. But I don't know how many I actually have. No more than 3 or 4 of my beloved Maestros. So I may have to start doing a lot of work with synthetics. Because if it's really, really starting to get that bad... Because even with the ban on importing Kalinskis, I hadn't had trouble ordering just single brushes. But if it's going to get that bad, then I need to start saving the Kalinskis for when I really need them. And shifting. We'll see, though. So yeah, that mix, the one that kind of looks like a dirty green, that's that. But it shows up really strongly. So not putting a lot of water in there. It gives you a better chance to get decent coverage. Somewhat, Blue Nine, somewhat. I agree with that to a point. The only watercolorists whose opinion I would trust on that would be either the botanical people or the wildlife people. Because they're the only ones who are doing fine detail watercolor in general. Like really fine detail like the stuff we do. Otherwise, a lot of watercolor people do not paint like we do. But the botanical people do, and the wildlife painters do. Like, the brushes that we use for mini painting were actually used by those painters in particular. Like, those are the people who buy the kind of brushes we use. Yeah, landscape is just like, they'll brutalize their brushes. But, I mean, they do use a lot of synthetics, too. Because they can. But when you're doing botanical stuff and you need to get really sharp edges and fine detail, same with wildlife where you're doing whiskers and fur and little details that make animals look alive and their surroundings, That's when you're using the brushes. So I'm just bringing a little bit of green energy down here. I'm going to keep bringing it up the staff. Oh, your ant is hyper realistic. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's rare. And those people are crazy. There is one photorealistic miniature painter. Exactly one. One hyper-realism painter that I know of in our hobby. His name is Darren Hahn, and he's freaking insane. Let me show you how insane this man is. I have one of David's recent texts where he linked to one of his latest Instagram things. There we go. 1/6 scale. This is a paint job. You can see the bust. This is actually painted on. It is not a photograph. Or it is a photograph, it is of a paint job. So this is Darren Hahn. He's in China. I wish to God he spoke English so he could teach in English. But he's a photorealistic miniature painter. And he's the only one I know of. And he only does larger busts. 1/6 scale is pretty big. Yeah, so... And when you get close, if you can get close, you can see some brushstrokes. So 1/6 scale is, like, see, 1 inch per, no, 2 inches. Like, Soldier is, it's like one, damn it. So my Soldier 76 statue is 12 inches tall, and it's 1 foot per 6 foot. So if a head is like 12 inches long, then it's like a 2-inch tall bust, I think. Well, 1/6 means that a normal person is like 1 foot tall. Right, but the head is smaller. So a head is probably only 1/6 of that or less if it's a realistic scale. No, that's not child-sized. It's much smaller than that. Like, a 2-inch tall bust, which is what I suspect that is. So a 2-inch tall bust is going to be taller than this miniature, right? There's the 2-inch mark right there. So it's a big face. But, I mean, and you'd have to do that for the photorealism. You need to be able to do that, right? That's much larger than a Barbie head, by the way. 2 inches. Now, it could be 1.5 if you're at a more realistic 1:7, 1:8 for head height. In which case, then you're looking closer. Probably closer to that. But that's, yeah, you'd need that room. Yeah, another one. It figures there would be more. So we've got 2. In all of mini painting, 2. Because realism is just like so demanding. It's so demanding. I admire those people, but I don't want to be them. Oh, it's almost time to bring this to an end. I have to use my weird mixed up green. Oh no, I mean, you could give me a freaking inch, like 2 foot tall canvas. I still couldn't do that, right? It's the ability to break down the details and reassemble them in a way that creates realism is its own thing. Getting that illusion right. I've heard that he paints, Darren. I've heard that he paints like sculptors sculpt with tablets. Like, he's got the image blown up on a monitor in front of him, and he's painting down under a camera, and he's looking at the monitor while he's painting. So he's done that disconnect where he can interpret and use the monitor as his eyes, so he's able to blow it up that much. Well, that goes without, I think that goes without saying, Blue Nine. We've got so many great painters in the world that don't do realism. I don't know that I would, I mean, the problem with doing Impressionism, though, on miniatures is that you would have to have a sculpt geared toward it. I've looked at that before. Like, you know, that's the limitation of our medium. I don't think we're in danger of anybody, like, saying, you know, this is looking at those hyperrealism and saying this is what miniature painting should be. I don't think that's likely to be a thing. And certainly nobody should feel inferior, like you say, if they can't do it. Or even feel like it is the quote-unquote best way to do it. It's not. Just like any art, the best style is your own style. Because it's the right style for you. So I'm not going to get all the way up to the face here. I am interesting to see how well alchemical goes over. Yeah, it actually does have good. It's the white in it. So the white and the alchemical green gives me more coverage. But yeah. Yeah, the thing that like limits us with using traditional painting techniques, there's a couple of things. Rhonda has done a great article on this on Bird with a Brush. What kind of effects don't translate from like 2D or movies or whatever to miniature painting. But we're limited, like, because no matter how impressionistic we try to paint a piece, unless it's very big. But this kind of piece, the 28 millimeters we do, they're just too small. Oh, good. Rhonda's going to be on. Sweet. But yeah, I hold to the very much the conviction that the best style is your own style. Like, it's the style that you gravitate toward that you do well with. I definitely don't want people getting depressed because they can't paint like Darren Hahn, but I don't want people getting depressed they can't paint like me, right? And I'm far, far away from the way that Darren paints. And I wouldn't, like, although I enjoy realism, I more enjoy naturalism than realism. Okay, yeah. I can look at it. I don't go on Instagram very much. I'm actually, it's funny. I very much like YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon, but I detest other social media platforms. And I usually, although I gave Insta a try a while ago, it's actually not a great way to ever contact me because to go there, I just like grit my teeth. The reason for that is productivity. Social media is a huge productivity sink for me, and I don't enjoy it that way, so I've just stopped doing it entirely. It's too distracting. I've X'd it from my life. But if that's the only way that you can contact me, then I can go and look. I just might not remember for a couple days. See, and I never got anything from it. But that everybody's different. Everybody's path is different, right? That's where we're talking about it. So with me, I saw 0 conversion from Instagram to any of my other media. So I essentially gave it an intense 6 months, and when I got nothing out of it, I with much relief, decided not to do it anymore. It depends, like, I kind of have gotten, in the writing world, in the indie writing world, when you're advertising your books and stuff, one of the sayings is, if you don't enjoy a particular social media, don't do it. If you want to advertise on social media or you want to build a following on social media, don't choose a social media you don't like. Choose one you like. Which made a lot of sense to me. So yeah. It's just another hook footprint, yep. Yeah, I just found that I was dreading posting to it, so I stopped doing it. Like nowadays, if I like have a piece that I've worked on that I like, that I want to share, I might take a quick pic of it, pop it over on my Insta, but that's like it. But yeah, it's all a part of that baking sheet thing and giving people places to maybe find you. But it also is about, like, look at where you're putting your time, right? So it's always the battle with creativity and making it into something that you can build into an income stream. You always have to be questioning how you're using your time, if it feels right, and if it's worth it. I've gotten very sensitive to that over the years because I'm so busy all the time. You don't have the hustle to push it, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, if you're used to it and it's part of your routine, then it makes total sense to do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I found just to give you an idea, I did that poll on my Patreon of how people found me. Nobody checked Instagram. Zero. So yeah, I've just considered my husband loves it. David loves it because he just likes to go and see what people are working on. And I think for that purpose, for like sharing what you're doing with the community, I think it's cool there. I think that's, as you say, a gallery of your work. That's a totally good use for it. So I'm just like building up that green in preparation for making it pretty hot up here. And I'm just messing around. A lot of this we might cover over eventually as I make the top part of the snake really, really like bright to match what I'm going to do over here. But we're right now I'm just messing around seeing how much of the green tones I can kind of introduce more subtly lower down just as a texture. Because usually what I'd be using with dark wood is I'd be using a grayish color to highlight it, right? Or a grayish brown. So here I just mixed my green into a grayish green and decided to use that. So that's kind of how we're doing that. Alrighty. Oh boy. That's too bad, Vic. That's the danger, right? Yeah, the snake is cool, and we'll be bringing it up more. But it's almost time to take some little puppa for a walk. An actual walk, finally. She's out of heat, finally. We have deemed her safe. Safe for outside. Yeah, she pulled David all over the place this morning, apparently. She was terribly excited. I'm just happy because she was getting a little chubby. both David and all of us need our walks. Let's just put it that way. David and I were getting less activity because we weren't walking Kiki, and Kiki was getting less activity because she wasn't getting walks. So we all need the walk. Let's just put it that way. We all need the walk. This is why you get a dog, right? Because it makes you walk. It actually does work. You're on your third espresso. I can't do caffeine anymore. I had to cut it out for my guts. So I am herbal teaing. All right, guys. I think we'll halt it there. We'll let it sit. We'll let our tendrils, our awesome little tendrils, will cure. They're probably already getting there. Yeah, I did in college, but I only liked flavored stuff then. I had a lot of caffeine up until recently, but then I really, really started to see it hit my guts hard, so I kind of slid myself off of it, downgraded the type of caffeine I was having, and then went to nothing. Went to zero. Yes, Ed is almost finished. Finally. Finally, Ed will be done. soon. And then tomorrow I'm off, guys, because MRI. I'll be suffering, drinking some goop and sitting starvicating in a tube for a while. The things you do. And then the next day, we will be back to the Mises. The Miesling. Should be fine. It's one of the least, like... Yep. So she's coming right along. We just need really to do some of her armor, I think, and highlights on... I think I need to do some highlighting on her boots and stuff. But yeah, so cool. And I think, yeah, that's pretty much it. So Mouseling's almost done too, so we'll have to figure it out. I'm going to need replacements for all these. I probably need to get on Reaper and order more stuff. Dang it. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Ed thanks you for tuning in to our green stuff / staff painting episode. Yep. Trip to Tubeland. Yeah, it should be fine. Yes, and definitely come back at 2 p.m. for Rhonda. 2 p.m. USA Central Time. All right. Yes, it was nice to chat with you, Blue Nine. Thanks for stopping by. All right. Thanks. Thank you, Quindy. Thank you for hurting the cats or the bats. Talk to you later. Bye.